Once you're born, you are the baby of the food that you eat. So if you examine your digestive system, you can tell what is happening with you. Everything what is happening in you physically is, even including your mind, is directly influencing your gut.
I'm Dr. Vijith Sasidhar, Ayurveda Director of Sri Krishna Ayurveda Amsterdam. Basically, I am an Ayurveda physician, teacher, and a researcher. I have an experience of 23 years. The purpose of Sri Krishna Ayurveda Amsterdam is to bring the pure form of this ancient traditional wisdom Ayurveda for providing healing and teachings to all curious and seeking souls in the Netherlands and Europe.
Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Shashidhar, for coming here to my show. I really appreciate it. And I realized how early in the morning it is there in India. And for you to make that effort to be here, I really, really appreciate it. Welcome.
Thank you, Saju. It's a pleasure to be in your show, and I'm also looking forward to this experience.
Thank you. So, as you know, my show is called Quest for Peace, and our new year has started. And this is the best way of starting the new year to learn about how we can bring peace to our body. And with that, it'll bring peace to our mind and our soul. So I'm sure a lot of people that at this time of the year start looking for doing their New Year's resolutions. They want to work out, they want to do so many things, but forgetting about how to take care of our bodies. And you have a very different way of doing things in an Ayurvedic, being an Ayurvedic doctor, about how to really take care. And there's so many, the Western culture is so very different. So I'd love to hear about that. But before we go into that, I want to get to know you. And I would like to find out, how did you start all of this? Why did you start this? And is it something that was in your family, or is it just something that you love to do? Would you enlighten us?
Yes, sure, Saju. I originally was doing a normal schooling, and I reached my graduation. My graduation was on physics. So at the same time, I was also active in students' politics. I was also very active in theater and arts in the university. So it is very funny. It is a little bit of a destiny that, one of my professors inspired me first to focus on theater and art. And he kind of took me to the grooming camp where I was representing almost 15 events in an art fest of the university. So,
Wow.
and then he thought, okay, I will become at least the second scoring person that year. And then he wanted me to, stream into maybe even theater or even to movies, it's cinema. So this was a very interesting way of going towards something else. But my graduation was from physics. That's already a contrast. But somehow it worked out that I could not win more than 3, 4 events, and many things happened. So then he just said me, which it seems like that's not where you have to go. You just, I don't know why and how he said it. You try, see if you can get into Ayurveda. I don't know how that came to his. He is basically a professor of English, and then he was a registrar of a big university. So he is the man first, interestingly, put this word into my mind, and then age. So this is how then I came and discussed this with my parents. My mother was a medical nurse, allopathic medical nurse, but who always supported Ayurveda and said, the problems. And because being a nurse, she has to probably give shots to more than 100 patients at that time a day. And her hand was completely burned because of drops of medicine that is falling to her hand. So she is someone who really knew the side effects and the problems of what happens these medicines point to somebody's body. So he always tried to tell us, see, if you want any medical care, first you have to go for Ayurveda. And if it doesn't help, then you may go for something Western medicine. So then she also inspired me. But that's it's kind of in a very strange situation how I came to Ayurveda. But from childhood, I used to read, like my parents were kind of having a big library home, and I took a book called Raja Yoga, which was a compilation of the teachings of Swami Vivekananda in the States when he visited the States.
Oh,
So, so this became my Bible from the age of 10. So, of course, I was trained in doing asanas and some yoga practices since the age of 5 by my father. So, and then slowly he introduced these books to us. So, my brother, I have only one brother, he is now in Texas, in Dallas, actually. So, we both were introduced to yoga at the age that when I read this. And so, this was a kind of the basic inspiration for me to come to an Indian science instead of modern sciences, Western sciences. But I didn't know how. So many of my friends used to say they don't know how to, why I am speaking in a specific way, why I think in a specific way. They don't know what I'm going to do with all these attitudes I had, which I gained from, reading Swami Vivekananda. And I should add that at the age of 12, I had a very deep spiritual experience when I was doing something by reading his instructions, because those were instructions given as a class to his disciples in US. So I was doing something and I went into a state which I don't know what happened. Which and then I came out and I was kind of self-challenged. I had a feeling that I don't exist. This I don't exist anymore. So I was only 12, and of course, there's a big story around how I came out of that situation. It was a quite fearful situation. So that was a kind of a close to death experience which you reach through the practice. This was also a strong calling. So so all these things was already there in the background, which I in a way forgot. But this suggestion by my professor at that time led accidentally me to Ayurveda. And I joined Ayurveda. And after 1 week of joining Ayurveda, I wrote a letter to my parents. Now you can forget about me. I have found my way. Yeah, that is the story.
what a story. So, for clarity, universe spoke to you through your teacher to say that you should go to Ayurveda. And then universe spoke to you through your mother to say you should do Ayurveda. I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it, my interpretation, because I feel that whatever, the messages that you get, they have to come through people from above, from God. So you've got both those messages from your teacher and then from your mother. And then you went in, your dad also pushed you towards spirituality, basically.
Yeah, prepared me basically.
Pre- yes. And you say at the age of 12, you were reading Vivekananda's book and you went into a deep kind of a near-death experience just by reading it.
Not
That's
really,
amazing.
by practicing something. I still keep this book as my Bible. I exactly don't know which part, because there are many meditation techniques and many breathing techniques that he explains, including various practices, is there, because this was basically documented teachings of him to a group of people in United States during his visit. So I don't know which practice was it. I still try to find out which practice took me to this stage, which I don't exactly don't remember. Yeah. So it's not just reading, it is just trying something which he explained as a practice, because there are
I
several
see.
practices. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you were doing something and now you're trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Beautiful. So did you do any kind of allopathic studies, or did you just do Ayurveda?
Of course. So I said, like my basic schooling was, graduation in physics. Then When you go to university to study Ayurveda in India, you it's a 5.5 years of study,
Mm.
and by the end of your study, you are titled as a doctor. It's your graduate in Ayurvedic medicine and surgery. It's called Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. It's called BAMS. And so, right from the first year onwards, you study all Western medical topics. Like you study anatomy, all the classical textbooks of Western medicine, all Western textbooks. We also study, as the course says, we also study surgery at the last year. We studied Bailey and Lau, which is the Bible of surgery. So we have to study all the years Western medical textbooks. We have to write separate exam for those topics. And parallelly, we also study Ayurveda. So the curriculum of Ayurveda in Indian university, because it's a medicine, we are registered as equal status, like as a part A medical practitioner. It's equal registration in the same medical council where Western medical doctors are registering. The same medical council, Ayurvedic doctors are also registering. So because of that, we have to study both Western medical textbooks and Ayurvedic books at the same time. So it's a big challenge. Also in terms of studying and also having an understanding. That is probably a topic that I will come to later. Even we were posted in Western medical hospitals, usually government hospitals. We have to assist even surgeries. So you go through all kind of a parallel Western medical training. You see many procedures. You assist many surgeons. Many have been interning with regular cardiologists, regular physicians, and etc. And assisting them in the process of diagnosis and assisting them in the process of doing some procedures. So this is the training what is given. With that, you have to also study the classics, ancient treatises of Ayurveda. So this is the curriculum which is developed by the government of India, and then is a board. As you know, now India as a country has a separate ministry. It's called Ministry of Ayush for governing all these Indian sciences. It's not only Ayurveda, there is Siddha system of medicine, which is purely originated from Tamil Nadu. There are various other Indian medical systems. So it is all governed by a separate ministry called Ministry of Ayush. And yeah, there are thousands of also government doctors. Even there's a CCRAS, which is Central Council for Research in Ayurveda. There's a separate central ministry body for doing only research in Ayurveda and
I see.
publications. Yeah. So it's maybe this is not completely known in the West, but it is officially a medical system, and there's so many bodies doing research. There's another body for just regularizing curriculum and study materials, and even monitoring universities and colleges running programs. So it's like any other medical system. There are a lot of advantages in it, but at the same time, there's a problem that you are suddenly thrown into both Western and Eastern paradigms at the same time, and it is not easy for the student to really pick up ancient thought process, because this is quite, because Western textbook, if you know English, you can read and understand, because it's written in that way. This is how we learn until now, and then it seems like a continuum, because the chapters, the sections, even the classification of subjects, etc., are in alignment with the previous study, the chemistry, physics, organic chemistry, biology that you had in education. I mean, it seems like a continuation. But when a student suddenly come from that education to a traditional education, they speak, for example, I will tell you, it's very beautiful. But at that time, you cannot realize. There's a section where we start with anatomy in Ayurveda. This, in many treatises, starts with the creation of universe. So when you study at the section of anatomy, it speaks about the origin of universe. So at that time, you are kind of confused why they are speaking, because it's so beautiful to tell you that every newborn baby goes through the same process of the replication of the origin of the universe. So it's another universe being created. So the same processes that the universe has gone through in the process of creation, you as a a microcosm are also going through the same stages. That's why they start. But it is not directly said. Then you are, because that directly saying many things is not their way of speaking, ancient way of speaking. Because they expect gurus always in between the treatise and the disciple. So the a guru, a master, gives life to a treatise and translate that in an experiential way uh, to a disciple. So because of in university we didn't have gurus, they were all doctors and like university trained people who had more affinity to Western sciences. So personally, I know many people are confused, and some people just leave Ayurveda and get focused on Western medicine. Whereas it was clear to me somewhere, as I said, I could directly connect to the scripts, probably because of my previous exposure since childhood. This is why I said to my parents that I have found my way. So when I read treatises, it felt like somebody from ancient times is speaking to me through these sutras. And still, I missed something. And later, through another research that I did after my graduation, I met my guru and I just surrendered my life to him. I became his disciple later. So this is this is also another thing. Like when I was reading Swami Vivekananda, he said this: like if you are a true seeker, the universe will keep a master for you. It is the responsibility of the universe, not of you. So, but
That's beautiful.
yeah, and at
That's
that
so
time,
beautiful.
yeah, at that time I could not read. Like I see that I have underlined that statement in that book, but I could not even imagine that I will meet a master, my guru later, because he lived. Yeah, he is somebody else. So and who is was not at all easily reachable. But I met him, and even as a student in university, I used to say, I want to see somebody who can diagnose diabetes without testing blood, without testing blood sugar levels or HbA1c or whatever is the Western protocol to diagnose diabetes. Because in our classics, they have spoken about type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, and 20 types of type 2 diabetes is being explained in ancient scriptures. But we have lost
Wow.
how to apply that wisdom in clinics and diagnose it without a blood test. So regular our colleges, universities taught us also to check blood and diagnose diabetes, or check urine and diagnose diabetes. So I used to say I want to see somebody in my life. Whether I never thought that I can learn this, but I wanted to see somebody who can diagnose diabetes without testing blood or urine. And I just met a person, again, nature has preserved this person from the history, who had a pre-colonial education and who was already 90 by that time when I met him, who became my master, my guru. And I learned ancient treatise called Ashtanga Hridaya from him, and he was a living Ashtanga Hridaya. He memorized this big textbook from the beginning to the end. That was the ancient method, completely memorizing scriptures. So the universe was so
Wow.
kind to preserve for somebody like him for me to witness and to receive that wisdom from him. So so, and when he started teaching, he didn't suddenly start teaching me. I went to him as a researcher. After 6 months, contextually, I could ask him, "Can you teach me?" Then he stopped for a while and said, "Yes, he can teach me." So, as when we start traditionally training, I asked him what dakshina, like we need to give an offering to become a disciple. And he said, nothing physical. You have to do four things. Adhiti, learn properly under my instructions. Bodha, translate that into your wisdom. Acharana, practice that in your life. Pracharana, you propagate that to help others. So you have to take this vow for lifetime once you become my disciple. That is my Guru Lakshmi. So I'm continuing this journey of doing
That's
this for him.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So is he a guru means teacher? So is he a spiritual teacher as well as
That's
Ayurvedic?
yeah, that's a good point. So guru in Indian context, guru, the word has been used as a spiritual teacher also. Guru literally means Wu stands for darkness and Ru stands for destruction. Somebody who destroys darkness is the
Hmm.
word meaning of Guru. And that means somebody has light in his hands and in his speech, in his vision. So somebody who can throw light where there is darkness in the mind of the disciple. So it can be in any domain, right? It can There can be gurus. Is my Ayurvedic guru, but we call it as a guru. Who There can be an architectural guru. So when you are learning, so you know that there were 62 Indian sciences, including Vastu, the science of construction, astrology, or even animal husbandry. Even there was a Ayurveda for treating animals. There was Ayurveda for treating plants. There's a science of agriculture. So there were around 62 practical sciences and 62 lineages and masters who passed down this wisdom. The light is the science, the wisdom that is being transmitted. So Guru is just a torch bearer who preserve the flame of the science and the experiences from past and passes this to next generation is what is called as a guru. And of course, when it comes to spiritual realms, there is a spiritual master. But as you know, all sciences has spirituality engraved, including Ayurveda in itself.
Yeah. Wow. And the things that you're telling me about your guru and what you read about in the book about that when you are a seeker, that it's the universe's duty to send you a teacher. I really resonate with that because there was a time that I was also, I just asked the universe that I would like to have a teacher or I was ready for a guru, basically, spiritual guru. I needed some, you know, someone to show me the way kind of thing. And then I also had these things. I don't want the guru to tell me that I can't eat meat or, like I don't want those restrictions. I want a very um, simple guru that will not restrict me with anything, but still teach me. And he appeared, I was with him for, I think almost 25 years. And I learned a lot. Our whole family learned a lot from him. So I guess when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Exactly.
And you're right. That's beautiful. You've been running your center in Kerala for what, 20 years now?
Yeah.
Over 20? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary in the 31st of January 2025.
Beautiful. I had a couple of my friends come to see you, and I learned everything from them, all the beautiful things that you're doing there. Most of the people that come to you over there are they from abroad, or are they local, or is it a mixture?
Yeah. So most of the time, we have in-house patients from abroad, and only when really a bedridden person from the local is getting a treatment, we will make them to get admitted in our hospital. Otherwise, they can you'll come and receive treatment and go and rest, take rest with diet restrictions, lifestyle restrictions in their own home. And also, of course, they are taken care by their family, as you know, in India. So there's no problem. So
Okay.
most of the time, the in-house patients in our clinic or hospital is registered as a hospital are customers or from various countries. Almost we have clients from almost all the continents coming here. Mainly from Europe, US, Australia, these kinds of continents. And we have outpatients, like local patients coming and visiting us in the OPD, getting prescriptions and taking it. And when maybe from other states and a bit far away, then we also admit them in our hospital and do treatments.
Wonderful. And I believe, for them to come from all the way, they must have heard a lot about what you do. And I'm sure a lot of people get healed when they come to see you from various, ailments. What kind of ailments do you usually see when they come to stay with you? Can you just give us some idea of what they are and how you treat them? What do you look at?
Yeah. Yeah. So mostly we have a wide range of disease as being addressed. Let us say rheumatology, various kinds of arthritis, even various autoimmune diseases, various neurological conditions. When I say neurological conditions, it can be Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, motor neuron disease. So I think one of the relevance of Ayurveda in today's world, medical world, is that maybe infectious diseases, especially bacterial disorders, are treated with antibiotics very effectively. So, but there are so many non-communicable diseases or non-infectious diseases, maybe which are lifestyle origin, like lifestyle disorders is one group. Autoimmune disorders are another group. So, yeah, genetic-based diseases like hereditary-based diseases, psychosomatic disorders. So these kinds of disorders, including, let us say, liver inflammation, like hepatitis or fatty infiltration of liver cirrhosis. These things that in Western medicine, there's no remedy. Even for hypothyroidism, they give altroxin, levothyrox. They just supplement it. It's not a cure. They are just giving what is missing. So even for what you call as a metabolic syndrome, various diseases related to that. So there are many diseases in Western medicine where there is no treatment actually. They are just addressing the symptoms largely. So whereas in Ayurveda, you can reverse these diseases, including type 2 diabetes. So this is when it was unscientific to say so, maybe 5 years ago, that type 2 diabetes is reversible. But now Western medicine also have a statistical evidence that type 2 diabetes can be reversed, lifestyle changes, etc., especially in the early years. So there are many also autoimmune diseases. So there are many diseases which doesn't have a remedy in modern medicine. They have something to kind of maybe subside, anti-inflammatories or analgesics or immunosuppressants, steroids. They are not remedies, right? They are either trying to put down the pathology, mask the pathology, or just symptomatic remedies are being prescribed. Whereas you see in Ayurveda, there is a basic remedy and a cure for many of those diseases. So these are the diseases that which comes to us that are including some precancerous conditions. For example, HPV, human papillomavirus infection, which is affecting the cervix of a uterus, is later turning to cervical cancer. So there is no specific remedy for human papilloma viral infection or any viral infection. There is no basic remedy in Western medicine. Whereas we see that there are effective remedies. There are many cases where we have treated even early forms of cervical carcinoma. We have treated and it has resolved completely. So there are many such conditions, even early forms when the prostate cancer is early detection is there. It's not really PSA is elevated structurally. They are not able to locate anything. So in these conditions, when they undergo our treatments, we see that this value comes down. Then there are also basically related to oncology. There are also cases when people come after regular protocol of surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, etc. And especially when there is a high rate of recurrence, we see that when they undergo Ayurvedic treatments, the recurrence rate is much lesser. So by detoxing the body, by you are reprogramming certain pathophysiologies, which is triggered by certain genetic changes into the body. So I think I have given you a wide spectrum.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So what exactly, okay, let's look at disease. I've heard that disease can come to you because of your emotions, because of karma, because of, like also not taking care of yourself. Obviously, if, you're eating bad or you're, the environment. What is your take on that? Why do you get sick? Why do these diseases come to you?
So it's again when I speak, it's not my take, it's Ayurveda's take. I will speak from the script. I'm just representing the scriptures. So okay, Ayurveda has a very clear understanding that three causes, three causes, or three factors, three group of factors are responsible for disease or health. It's called Eka Karana, one cause. One cause is that what is resulting in disease or in disease. It's three groups of things. The first thing is Kala, which is time or the season. So now it is the time of climate changing, right? So this is the era of climate change. The rhythm of a climate has gone, or global warming. So the first cause of disease or health is when the seasons are in the right cycle. Then there is health when seasons are expressed in a wrong way. So they say when wrong way has three possibilities. Three possibilities. One is less expression. Second is too much of expression. Third is improper expression. Right. So a winter, now it's a winter time there, right? I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. When the winter, during the winter time, it's not very cold, slightly cold, but it's not very cold and it's not snowing in a place where it has to snow. This is less expression of a climate.
Okay.
Then too much of expression. That means there is too much of snowing and it's going to too much of into minus. And that expression, that is also imbalancing. Then improper expression. That means at the time when it has to be winter, you feel like a summer. This is improper expression. All these three expressions, when it happens, this can be a fundamental cause of ill health, including, this is a time when mutation happens to many viruses, and this also affects the internal environment in your body. So this tells you that your body is a part and parcel of the universe. Any changes that is happening in the earth is invariably affecting you. You are made up of the same five elements, or you are made up of the same molecules that is building up animals and plants around you, right? So you eat dead tissues of animals and plants and you transform that into your tissue. So what is outside as your food today will become your tissue tomorrow if you consume that. So the outside world is constantly becoming the inside world, and the inside world is constantly becoming the outside world through breathing, through eating, through drinking, and through various forms. So any change that is happening externally in terms of climate is influencing you. This is said to be the first cause. So that means in this era of climate change, health is impossible, balance is impossible. When climate has changed, how we have anabolism and catabolism. In body, there is a building up mechanism and breaking down metabolic mechanism. The same way, we also classify climate into two groups. There are building up or climate that brings water element to the earth. It can be winter, it can be rainy season, it can be seasons where water element comes to the earth. And there are another group of seasons where water element is taken out of the earth. It can dried out like summer, like fall, and that kind of seasons. So this is how anabolism and catabolism is happening in the earth and also in the body. So that's the first group of course. The second group of course is called artha. Artha in Sanskrit means sensory objects, sound, touch, what you see, what you smell, what you taste, so food, etc. So whatever comes in contact with you, the exposure, right, is a second cause. So if you use too much of screen, that is a second, that's a cause of imbalance. If you don't use your eyes, that is also a cause of imbalance. If you use your eyes very strainfully, that is improper. So the same thing, too much, too less, and improper. exposure of various sensory organs, including a tongue, like food, or smell, exposure of touch. So you need also touch. A person who is not touched is also can be a cause of imbalance. A person who receives too much touch, it's also improper touch. That's also a cause. So all these things that come into you, come into your nerve endings, to your sensorium, into your brain, into your mind, is also said to be the second cause. When all these factors, when all these sensory stimuli, including the food that you taste, the smell that you get, what you are seeing, what you're hearing, what comes to your touch. For example, we regularly recommend oil application to our skin, to have a right touch and a kind of a self massage. This is just making a balanced touch to your skin. So, including this, there are various factors which either imbalances you or balances you. And the third thing is karma, your actions. So the third factor and the last factor is your actions. So your actions, as you mentioned, even the previous lifetimes is also considered as a cause. So Ayurveda believes in rebirth. Ayurveda believes in the continuation of this life in various life forms, even we don't know in which all planets or wherever, which all Milky Ways we will have existence. So Ayurveda really explains that life is a continuum. Life doesn't end. Life doesn't have a beginning and end. So we see that it is just an embodiment. Every life that you take this lifetime is just one embodiment. And the subtle body will release from this body and will take another body and will continue. So even the actions that was done in the past life and also verbal, physical, and mental activities that you do in this lifetime, that is also said to be including that falls into the lifestyle. That is falling into the positive factors. And that's where we also bring in psychological factors, how your mind is functioning, how even how you speak, even how you express yourself, how you speak also has a lot of influence here on your health. So this is how seasons, your exposure, the sensations that you receive, and how you react to it, the actions. This is how we see that the cause of diseases and cause of health. It's the same three factors.
Wow, it is so intricate, everything. You have to really be aware of so much. You're talking about the weather change, and you're talking about your emotions and how you perceive and how you react. There's a lot for us to pay attention to, basically. And a lot of people, a lot of Ayurvedic doctors I've heard they talk about doshas. What are those?
Literally, dosha in Sanskrit means defective things. So dosha in Sanskrit, literally, that's the meaning of the word. Dosha means something, a problem. Dosha means a problem or a defect. This is the word meaning of in Sanskrit, dosha. So that means Ayurveda says your body is made up of three groups of substances: doshas, dhatus, and malas. So I will tell what is dosha, but dhatus are the structural units, like tissues, various tissues like blood, lymph, muscle, bone marrow, and various reproductive tissues. So these are the structural compounds or units of human body, is what is known as dhatus. And malas are waste products of the metabolic waste, including the fecal matter, the urine, the sweat, the sebum, the eye sand, whatever comes out of your body as the waste product of the metabolism or the processes that is happening within your body is known as waste product. Including your hair and nails are also considered as a waste product of bone tissue according to Ayurveda, which you cut off. So you have to take them off. So your body is made up of these three groups of substances: doshas, tissues, and waste products. And maybe we will look into what is doshas. Dosha literally means defect or problematic substances. They are functional units of human body. They are substances, there are three groups of substances. We call them as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. They are one substance, a group. Vata is one group, Pitta is another group, Kapha is another group. There are three groups of substances which are responsible for the function of human body, how this organs, cells, everything function, including the union of sperm and ovum and the zygote formation and embryological development and the fetal development in mother's womb is done by these three group of substances which are completely responsible for any functions, either normal or abnormal, or in scientific terminology, for physiology or pathophysiology, the same group of substances are responsible for. So by stating the word by this nomenclature, dosha, problem, to the functional substances, functional units, what the ancient seers wanted to warn you. You see, your functional forces or the substances that governs the physiology of your body has the capacity to create problem. They will react. So be careful, right? So by putting this word problem, dosha, to this functional unit, this is what they want to tell you. So if you live normally, if you have a normal lifestyle, if you have a normal diet, if you have a normal thought process, if you have a normal spiritual functioning, if the climate to which you're exposed is normal, if the impressions that comes to you is normal, doshas will not create any problem. But if you start exposing you to wrong climatic conditions, wrong stimulus, wrong actions, so either to external or internal environment, when it is challenging, they will create problem. Why? Because they are part of your defensive mechanism. They are not your enemies. Doshas are not your enemies. They are part of your defense. They will create problem because they will quickly detect a small challenging situation. It can be physical, chemical, or biological. An organism which is challenging you, a chemical substance that is challenging you, or even a heat or cold or physical things that challenges you. When you are exposed to that internally or externally, they will create problem because they will first of all detect it, something is coming, something wrong is happening. They will start behaving. So it's a pathophysiology. They will change the physiology to warn you, to adapt it, to defend it, to bring this to your notice. A pain is not a disease, right? A pain is a call. It's the language of life that alarms you. Look, there is something going wrong here. It calls your attention. It limits movement, right? So doshas are three groups of substances. And to be very simple, because it's a small talk what I'm giving to you. So to be very simple and straight for the modern mind, I will say vata are gaseous substances. Because that is another accidental thing. I came from the graduation of physics and I come to Ayurveda. Then I found out that Ayurveda is nothing but biophysics.
Oh,
Ayurveda is nothing but biophysics. If Western medicine is the science of biochemistry, Ayurveda is the science of biophysics.
that's
Because
interesting.
yeah, because Ayurveda, ancient people were appreciating everything, whether it is hot or cold, whether it is dry or wet, whether it is light or heavy, whether it is rough or smooth. So, physical appreciation, because chemical appreciation is an artificial, it's needs, even an atom or a molecule. This is a little bit different. So, a physical appreciation, whether something is hot or cold, it's how you feel it. And so if something is sweet or sour, is how you feel it. So the physical appreciation of life and physical understanding of human body is what is the fundamental principle of Ayurveda. And the concept of five elements, it is my own translation. Now I said this is not Ayurveda, it is Dr. Vijith's own interpretation. I interpret five elements as five states of matter. For to me, earth element means solids. Earth elements means the unit of solidarity, solids, right? Water elements means liquids. Agni, fire means plasma. Air means gaseous. and space means space or ether or vacuum, however you want to interpret that. So they are speaking about the units, physical units of this universe, with which the whole universe and your body is built up of. So Vata is a group of space and air. That means is they are gaseous substances which are responsible for the functions of pathophysiology or physiology of human body. And now modern medicine is slowly researching into this topic. They are studying about various gases which are responsible for functioning of human body, including gasotransmitters. Gasotransmitters are neurotransmitters which are gaseous in nature, which is responsible for nerve transmission, like signal transmissions. And nitric oxide and various which is responsible for your angiotension, the blood pressure, or the proper tension of your blood vessels is controlled by nitric oxide. So now modern medicine is, of course, oxygen, they knew, carbon dioxide, they knew. So there are various group of gaseous substances which are responsible for physiological functioning. When their quantity is too much, too less, improper gases coming, again that leads to pathology. That is Vata. Pitta are fluids like hormones, enzymes, and various fluids which are secreted from glands into the bloodstream, which flows and thus functions in various target organs. This is what is Pitta. And Kapha are serous, viscous fluids that are secreted into various chambers, like cerebrospinal fluid around the brain and the spine, aqueous humor and vitreous humor within your eyes, synovial fluid within your joints, even the mucus secretion within your stomach, the mucus secretion lining and secretion within your chest and respiratory system. So these are various mucus, serous secretions which are secreted into certain cavities, which doesn't go out of its space but does physiological functions in that cavity. When imbalanced, they themselves become the pathology, right? So hydrocephalus is a condition where there's too much of accumulation of CSF, where the head grows of a child. Synovial fluid effusion, joint effusion, the synovial fluid is too much into your joint. It swells up, right? So everywhere they have this pathology. So for me, it's my own interpretation for modern world that doshas are three groups of substances which governs physiological functions of human body, which has a defensive role. Whenever things goes wrong, they react and produces diseases. So this is a simple explanation of what is doshas.
It's wonderful. And I know from what I understand, you have to check the pulse of the patient to know where the imbalance is and go from there, correct? That's how you check?
Yeah, that's also a good point. So I want to make a small correction there.
Okay.
In the West or in the north of India or in some lineages, there are lineages which gives too much of emphasis to pulse. But
Okay.
originally, in Ayurvedic paradigm, in the classical practice of Ayurveda, including my guru's lineage, don't give so much of emphasis to pulse. Pulse is one of the examinations. It is not diagnosis. So if somebody uses the word pulse diagnosis, it is wrong according to Ayurveda, classical Ayurveda. There is no diagnosis done through pulse. It is one of the examinations. We look into the eyes, we look into the tongue, we palpate. So, darshana, sparshana, prashne. Darshana, looking, inspection of joints, inspection of the tongue, of the eye, of the nails, of the shape of chest, of the respiratory movements, of even swelling, discoloration, edema. There's multiple factors. So inspection, darshana, sparshana, palpation, touching. So pulse examination come under the touching examination, which is a huge examination. My guru would rather touch the belly than touching the pulse. But because by touching your stomach, because you are the baby of the food that you eat. Once you're born, you are the baby of the food that you eat. So if you examine your digestive system, you can tell what is happening with you. Everything what is happening in you physically is, even including your mind, is directly influencing your gut. So now even modern medicine speaks about gut brain axis,
Mhm.
right?
That's
Even
correct.
now they
Yes.
start understanding, now after centuries or millennia, start understanding how the microbiome within your stomach, within your intestines, are controlling the gasotransmission or the neurotransmission in your brain. Right? They have now found out Alzheimer's and a change in microbiome in your gut has a co-occurrence, very consistent connectivity. So not only your brain, all your organs. Ayurveda says your stomach look up. This is probably a big information I want to pass to the listeners. This really helps. Stomach look up and the colon look down. That means stomach and the health of stomach, how good is your stomach, is going to control your heart health, lung health, throat health, brain health, and all the organs, including your neck, shoulders, all the part of your body above your stomach is completely under the control of stomach. I will treat
Wow.
stomach when there is a brain problem. I will treat stomach when there is a neck problem. I will treat stomach when somebody is having a heart attack. I will treat stomach when there is an asthma. It's all born from stomach. Right? So,
Mhm.
colon, the large intestines, controls all other organs, including your kidneys, including your uterus, including your rectum. So large intestine is governing all your downward, pancreas, and all other organs. So this is how your gut is controlling your all other
Whole
part of
body.
your body. All other cell of your body should receive food from gut because there is no other way to get food. So there is a connection from the gut to any single cell in your body, and gut has the intelligence and the software to control everybody else because it's the mother, it is feeding them. They know how to, have the threat. Understand? So pulse comes
Wow.
under one of the palpative examinations. And I said very clearly, my guru used to give much more emphasis to palpation of belly than even me. My practice also, I might skip pulse examination in many patients, but I will not miss palpating the belly of a person. And prashnam, also interrogation, asking the people, well, how is their bowels? Do they feel hungry? Do they feel sleepy? How is the quality of sleep? So these are three tools: inspection, palpation, interrogation. These are three tools of examination, not diagnosis, examination. And you collect all possible data, even family history, their constitution, their profession, their emotional disposition, all this data, and diagnosis is always multifactorial decision. It is called yukti in Sanskrit. You don't diagnose only based on one examination. Just pulse, no, unscientific. Just tongue, no, unscientific. Just eye, no, unscientific. Just abdomen, not just the symptoms, not just the primordial symptoms, not just that. So you bring up all the available data. So that's a huge data collection that we do when we are examining a patient and we're doing a consultation. Then you bring in and you match with the data what we have studied, which is the beauty. So there is a section of diagnosis where they have said what is specific diet habits, what is specific lifestyle habit, what is the thought process, even what is the karmic, even specific karmas being explained for specific diseases in ancient
Oh,
treatises for specific diseases. So
interesting.
that's the beauty of ancient data. So we match the data that we collect with the data that is written down in the scripture, and then we come to certain probable diagnosis. And then Ayurveda also speaks about upashaya and anupashaya, like trial and error. Then you give some medicine and see if it is that works, then it is that. If not, it is something else. So including that. So it's a very scientific thought process. Ayurveda is a very scientific thought process. It's not using herbals, medicine, or it's not anything. It's a process of understanding life, It's a process of understanding universe, and it's a process of applying this wisdom in a specific way. So when you spoke about your guru, you said a very important statement. A guru or a master is not teaching what to do, or is not teaching the knowledge. A guru is not teaching the knowledge, but the guru is teaching you how to know
Mm.
the means of various means of knowing. So in Ayurveda, we accept four means of knowing. First means is treatise. How to read the treatise and grasp the very intricate secret knowledge which is hidden in the script is the first teaching given. The second teaching is pratyaksha, sensory observations. How you look, how you touch, how you smell. Even we smell body. Sometimes a diagnosis has a specific smell. Text speaks about various smells. So how you use your sensations to diagnose. That's pratyaksha. The third is called anumana. It is inference. Something which is untangible. You see that there is always a co-occurrence of some signs, and if this is there, it is that. So that is called inference. You see something that which you infer something unseen, right? So that is inference. And then the final thing is yukti, which is means considering all the data that you collected through previous steps, you use it and come to a single decision. That is yukti. So diagnosis is always done through yukti, a multifactorial assessment.
Awesome. There's so much. It's so intricate. This whole, to look at the body to find out what's the diseases, why it's caused. I'm just going to tell everyone, to my audience, that the doctor is coming to McAllen. We're very, very excited to have you here, and we've already spoken to some people, and they're flying in from various places like New York and all that to come and see you here. And anyone who would like to see Dr. Vijith is coming in June. He'll be here on the 17th, and he'll be here for 2 weeks. And if any of you would like to get an appointment to see him, just get in touch with us. Go to our website, loveisinfinite.org, or send us an email, loveisinfinite.org@gmail.com. And just contact us, and we will set you up and for any more information. And I wouldn't wait too long, because people are already signing up with us, and there's only so many seats. Dr. Vijith is going to take his time and take care of you, to check you from head to toe to find out what's going on. Dr. Vijith, what exactly can people expect when they come to see you here?
So that's a good point. So we will send a health questionnaire to the people ahead of time.
Okay.
So once they book their appointment, that is the first thing we are going to do. And thank you, Saju, and your team, and Infinite Law, for organizing this. This is my first visit to US. My very first student there from US, but I didn't visit since 20 years US, but he's the first time we don't visit US. And thanks for invitation, and this is the right time that I'm coming there. So when we will give you our health questionnaire, or you have it already with you. So when people book in, you will send the health questionnaire to them. So take time, please. Take time and look in this. Filling in this questionnaire itself is a healing process. Because I will tell you, caring, listening to yourself is the biggest step in healing. The moment you start bringing your attention to a problem, you start solving the problem. Because we are not listening to many, many things. We call them as gods, many divine forces in us, which is digestive fire, respiratory energy, the prana. So we don't pay attention to all this divine. We're so much distracted from this thing. So this filling in this questionnaire is a time to be mindful, to meditate, to examine yourself, to how is my bowels? How is my hunger? Do I feel hunger? When I'm eating meals, do I feel hunger and eat, or I'm just eating because it's time? And what is the food that I'm eating? Just make a diary for a few days and write down whatever you are taking. for breakfast, then what you drink, then with it, what you drink afterwards. So be mindful about even what all things go in even without your knowledge. So so there are questions about all these diet, lifestyles, sleep patterns, dreams. Yeah, it's very personal. It's a very personal thing, even about your father, even about your birth. Sometimes you have to ask your parents, the status of health at your birth. So there are multiple questions that you have asked. So please make sure that you write down the worst possibility, because people try to be the best when they write down. When you think, no, people are living so healthy. Please don't do that. So if you have a habit,
Guilty.
no, it is just for us. No, not to be guilty, but for us, because why we are asking this is to understand the cause of imbalance. So if you have a person who goes to bed mostly at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, and maybe once in a week you go to bed at 10 o'clock, don't put 10 there. You put even the worst possibility to be 12 or 1 there. Because why we are asking this question is not to give you a big score, oh, nice, but to find out what is the imbalancing cause, what imbalances you. So that we understand why. So we are always weighing the cause to the effect. Okay, can this cause, this diet, this lifestyle, this personal family atmosphere, this professional occupational atmosphere, can this produce this? So we always gauge, then we understand they are not telling the truth, or they are either not aware of the truth, or they are not telling us the truth, right? So we know out of the
or,
experience of 20.
or we are not facing the truth.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah. So try to put this down. So this is already a big thing for us, and then we already verify it. Then we do the examination and verify certain data, and then we come to a conclusion. We assess what is your constitution, what is going on with your mind, your body, your soul, what the spiritual status, and then we give you recommendations on all these things. How to correct your diet. What is the best way of adapting your diet? What is the best lifestyle? Well, when to sleep, how to sleep, when to get up, how to exercise, how not to exercise, and all these things. And then how to put some simple spices, some simple herbs, etc., as teas or as something into the food, etc., to enhance this feeling. So, how to, we are treating the fire, we say, fire is life. We are treating the digestive fire, the element fire, the tissue fire. When the fires are proper, it can correct anything. It can make or break. It can bind things, it can break things, burn things. So we are trying to correct your fires, 13 fires in you. 7 tissue fire, 5 element fire, digestive fire, 13 fires in you. Then they do the job for you. So this is what we do. We also sometimes recommend some asanas, some pranayama technique, breathing techniques, some meditative techniques, and specific music to listen to. So this is how usually the advices come out. And I'm coming with my assistant and associate who is Yanavike. She's from Netherlands and she is working with me here. So we'll be coming together. So I will do half the consultation, write down the protocol, and she'll be explaining that to you and giving you the supplements and reports.
Awesome. And you're also going to be doing some massages. And what is all that about?
Good. That's a good question. So in Ayurveda, we speak about 108 vital points in human body, which are again like transformers. When the prana, when the life energy, the electricity flows through body, before it enters into each organ, there is a point where the energy comes and the voltage and things are regulated. And then according to that organ's need, this point is putting energy to each organ. So there are 108 points in your body. It can be joints, it can be muscles, it can be tendons, it can be nerves. So which are regulating the energy flow to each organ. So when something is going wrong in each organ, you can find swelling, stress, and some changes in these vital areas. So for us, therapeutic massages is an examination, first of all, to feel these vital areas in your body, to assess physically what is going on with various organs, and then do some reversal manipulations, which kind of re-regulate the energy flow and correct the doshic balance and the prana flow in the of your body, specific parts of your body. So this is the therapeutic massage history of design, which I have learned from various masters, have adapted and revised and developed this technology from various lineages. So this is what we do as a therapeutic massage sessions.
Beautiful. So a person coming in to see you will probably take about an hour and a half to 2 hours with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, first
Yeah.
we have a short interview of within half an hour. Then we go to this physical massage, which is lasting around 1.5 hours. So it's totally a 2 hour session that we are.
2 hour session. Wonderful. Yeah, it's very exciting, and we're very excited to have you. And in fact, we thank you for accepting our invitation to come here. Especially, you've traveled all over the world, but you've not been to the United States. So this is wonderful, and we invite everyone to fly from wherever they are. This is a very important and such a good opportunity for everyone to really get to know, because now is the time we need to start really taking care of ourselves. Dr. Vijith, I also found out, okay, we're talking about medicine, not medicine, we're talking about Ayurvedic, but what about spiritual? How to take care of ourselves spiritually? So my friends who came to see you told me that you told them about this, like, does meditation help? And does mantras help? And I know, me personally, I do mantras in the mornings, and I, prayer and all that all helps you, right? They also told me that you recommend to wake up early in the morning when it's going from darkness to light. And since they told me that, I've started doing it. And it's a beautiful experience. It's really changed my mornings. It makes me wake up early. By the time I'm in the after, like it's 11 o'clock, I'm said, okay, I'm done. My days, because I woke up early to do it, and I usually don't wake up that early. So can you elaborate on that and talk about why that is so important?
Good. So again, Ayurveda classifies treatment into three. So the first group is called Yukti Vipashraya Chikitsa, which means rational treatment, which is the treatment for body, physical treatment. Right. So if we treat physical body rationally, as I said, it's biophysics. Then there is Sattva Avajaya Chikitsa. Sattva means mind. So there is a treatment specifically to treat the mind. We treat mind with mind. So the simple logic behind treating mind is expose mind with the most sattvic impressions. We say mind has three traits: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Tamas is darkness, rajas is overstimulation, is agitation, and sattva is the real state of consciousness, undisturbed, clear state of consciousness. This is the three states of mind. Also, I take this opportunity to say that I am not my mind. My mind is a tool through which I know. It is like one of my senses. It's one of my indriyas, one of my tools. So once it is through which I see. So if the mirror through which, or the glass through which I see, is disturbed, I have a distorted experience. So that is the importance of mind. So we minimize tamasic or dark or overstimulating, agitating exposure of mind, and give various exposures, including smells, food, sounds, all impressions, a frequency which produces a sattvic vibration, calming, clear, awakened state of mind. Now, this is through various techniques. This is what is known as Sattva Avajaya Chikitsa. This is for the mind. This is how we treat mind. It's I'm just ocean. I'm just chilling in one drop. Okay. And the third thing is Deva Vyapasraya Chikitsa. And this is the spiritual treatment in Ayurveda. We treat the soul through this. So the soul, which is the consciousness, the spirit, is treated with Daiva Vipasraya Chikitsa. And here Daiva has two meanings. Daiva primarily means the karmas that is associated with the soul, which is being transmitted from previous lifetimes. That is the first meaning of Daiva in Sanskrit. Right? So we are, that is a basic asset, that is a basic bank balance. This is this is the teaching of my basic teaching of my Guru. Only be afraid of your karmas. Don't be afraid of anything else. Only be afraid of your own karma. And that follows you wherever you go. You cannot escape from that. What? So even other lifetimes, this is going to come with you. So be afraid of. The word is be afraid of your karma. So how to handle if you have a bad karma accumulated with you, all your experiences are going to be bad. If you have a good karma associated with you, all things what is happening with you is going to be good. So we see people that from birth they are born with so many problems, so many diseases. Everything they do, their parents were a problem, their friends were a problem. They went to another rescue place and there it was a problem. So this is how you can see. It's clearly karmic. It's very clear. There's an unseen cause, which is the karma, which you cannot see. So how to address this, how to burn, how to undo this bad karma is a group of things which is known as Deva Vasraya Chikitsa. Their mantra comes. Are very powerful tools of tuning your consciousness and receiving energy to unwind your karmic debts. Monies, even wearing certain specific germs like stones, there is money, mantra, aushadhas, even wearing some herbs. So now I am wearing, this is tulsi mala. This is tulsi. Tulsis are made into beads and covered with gold. So this is an aushadha. Tulsi is a very divine herb. So there are some herbs or plants or trees which are divine in its nature. So you wear that. Now, there are some leaves, even the leaves of tulsi we will wear in the hair or somewhere. So you take protection, which kind of energetically protects. So wearing those aushadhas, mani mantra aushadha, homas, fire ceremonies, where we evoke spiritual energy, we burn, we transform bad energy into positive energy. It's basically a spiritual evolution, this spiritual fire and offering, and putting thoughts, mantras of specific offerings and reminding them. You know the word yama and niyama, which is from yoga. Niyama means vows, like, your fasting vows. Sometimes you fast once in a month, or twice in a month, or during a full moon day. Or there are different vows, or you decide not to eat non-vegetarian food, or so the different vows prescribed for different reasons. So practicing these vows, niyama, prayaschitta, there are different penances, there are different rituals of doing some penances and giving offerings to priests or children or to animals, to birds, as a penance.
I mean, there's so many questions I have as far as spirituality, because I'm very much, interested in it. And I think because the time is getting away from us now, maybe if you wouldn't mind, we can meet again sometime and maybe talk more into mantras and what's good, the mantras, and what are the stones, and what are the different things that we can do, which I'm sure a lot of people will be very interested in listening to. If that's okay with you, maybe we can meet one more time. I really appreciate, though, all this time, that it's all this so much information that you have given to us. I'm going to definitely share all this with all the doctors that I know over here. And we really look forward to seeing you here soon. I mean, June is just a few months away. It's going to be amazing. Quest for Peace, a podcast about navigating outer chaos with inner harmony. Whether you're seeking solace in the midst of life's challenges, or simply curious about the profound connection between inner and outer peace, the Quest for Peace podcast is your guide on this transformative expedition.